Hey everybody, welcome to Game Off Podcast. This is episode 34. We're covering the Ubisoft Forward conference this weekend, as well as the Devolver Direct, and we also got a showcase, 2 great games, Deep Rock Galactic, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I'm your co-host Brent, aka Arcadia, along with
Andrew, aka Solitalker here.
Hey Andrew, how you doing this week?
You know, I'm doing okay, which is vastly different than I've been That's not. It's the same. It's the same answer every week.
I was like, do we need to talk? Do you need a hand?
You know, actually, I'm glad that you asked.
If you need anything.
Can you just turn off the cameras, turn off the microphones for a second? We can have a very serious talk.
We just come back. We're all red-eyed. Everything's great, guys. All right. We got 2 big conferences that would normally happen during E3 happened this weekend. Ubisoft Devolver Direct. Devolver happened first. Let's talk about that one. Yeah, what happened there?
The Devolver Direct, so we're on, I want to say, year 4 of the Devolver Marketing Cinematic Universe, and I'm going to try to keep spoilers for those of you who are interested in seeing what happens to Nina Struthers and the rest of the Devolver gang. I'm going to try to keep all the plot spoilers out of this and just talk about the announcements, because there's a lot going on. You watched it, right? You've seen it?
Yeah.
At
this point, there's a solid 2 hours, so it's like a movie now.
Oh yeah, and it's at that, especially now, it is at that level of production.
It really is.
Like they
do a fantastic job.
There's full cameos. There was custom soundtracks written. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
If there's one absolutely batshit presentation that you should watch from this weekend, it's that one. And there are probably more presentations I'm not even aware of that were equally batshit. But we knew about, the first thing that they showed that we knew about going into it, because they had tweeted about it a little bit, was Shadow Warrior 3. Did you play any of the Shadow Warrior, the 2016 or the 2013 one?
I actually just started the first Shadow Warrior the other day, so I only finished like the prologue in chapter 1.
They're great games. I really enjoy them.
Very old school, like definitely like have like a pre-Doom feel to it, but also like it evolved and sort of like ushered in this new era of these, like, what do you call them, like sidesteppy shooters?
Yeah, it's the 2013 one was really interesting, as it was just like kind of that very melee based combat and very quick fire, switching between melee and weapons in a very linear game. And then the second one in 2016 had a lot more. It was more open world, mission based, almost like a Borderlands, where you had this kind of hub where you took on missions and side quests, found loot, equipped stuff, equipped skills. So I'm very interested to see what they do with this third one, especially now that they were showing off all of that, all the work they've put into basically Titanfall 2 level traversal and movement.
Yeah, the wall running really looked wild.
The wall running, the grappling hook looked pretty cool, and it looked like at points he was using the grappling hook to interact with environmental elements, to like pull switches and levers. That looked fucking awesome.
That lever bit was wild.
So I'm very excited for that. I'll definitely play that one when it comes out. Was it Flying Wild Hog? I think is the name of the studio.
Something like that.
I've enjoyed everything they've done so far. Did you ever play Hard Reset?
No, not even familiar.
That was what they did before that, and it's very good. Equally kind of just frenetic FPS combat, but in a futuristic, it's raining and there's robots kind of world.
Oh, okay. I can get on board.
Yeah, good time. The second one they showed off was Carrion, which I think they showed off at last year's Devolver Direct.
Yeah.
And that's that weird, you are an evil demonic creature fucking with people in a side-scrolling world.
Yeah, just gobbling people up and taking over their brains and shit. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, I'm still curious as to how that's gonna, like, what the actual gameplay that's gonna feel like. It's kind of hard to tell, like, how active versus sneaky it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the movement looks like really sort of like liquidy. It looks just sort of like you're a big blob of water sort of moving through all these sort of pipey environments. But they're like actual 2D planes in that a normal platformer like you'd have to traverse, but in this you're just sort of like globbing onto walls and stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to try that one out. Like that's one of those ones, almost like My Friend Pedro, where I feel like I need to play it to really understand it.
Yeah, exactly. Very on brand for Devolver.
Yes, yeah. Oh man, and this year all their stuff was very, very on brand.
Yeah.
Elijah. I didn't really know how to pronounce that one, even though they said it in the video. I don't remember. This was the side-scrolling sword-based game with the nice pixel art.
Yeah, looked very pretty. Don't really know what to expect from that.
Yeah, I'm definitely try it out. It looked very much reminded me a bit of Blasphemous, which you can hear us talk about in Game Off. Danielle, please put in the number here.
Somewhere in the teens, I think.
Yeah, it was an early Game Off. But the combat and movement kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, I thought it looked sharp. It's not my type of game, but you know, if it comes out and it's just like one of those games you must play, like I'd definitely be on board.
Yeah, and there's a good shot that it's a Devolver published game, so that it's a side-scrolling pixel art game is very, as you said, on brand, on message for them.
Yeah, that's Devolver and pixel art is not a concise descriptor.
And then you had Fall Guys, which I'm still not really sure I understand what that game is or how it plays.
I feel like that game's come out like 10 times now, and there's like a subtitle to it now, so even more confused.
Yeah, that seems to be that like the pre-release thing where like it's out for pre-release and people can play it, and then it goes through like seasons and releases within pre-release, and so you get to some weird like. It feels like you're buying when it releases. It feels like you're buying like the third expansion pack for it.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a game that needs to be played. Like I don't see how it would be fun, but it's like wacky as hell to watch. So.
Yeah, and very very. I like the visuals, very bright colored.
Yeah,
exactly. I like anything that harkens me back to Viva Pinata with bright neons.
It reminded me of what was the like physics game. It was just like the clay dudes beating each other up.
Gang Beats or Gang Beats? Gang Beats?
Gang Beasts, I think.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was more like that before I watched that trailer, and apparently this is more racing, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't really know.
It's somehow a battle royale, maybe?
Yeah, like a racing battle royale, maybe? I don't know.
It actually reminds me, looking at it, of when you'd go to a county fair and they'd have one of those big inflatable obstacle courses.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's what I'm imagining the gameplay to be like what it felt like as a child to try and climb up an inflatable obstacle course.
Yeah, it definitely, after watching it, I was like, man, I don't know how there isn't like an MXC the game yet. And maybe that's what this is.
That's a good point, because that is kind of what it feels like. People kept getting hit and falling over and knocked down things.
Yeah, especially with how popular Ninja Warrior is. Like,
yeah,
it's begging to be made.
Ninja Warrior needs the better announcers, though. It doesn't have that level of meta comedy on there. And then the last thing in that whole Devolver Direct was Serious Sam 4, which, sure.
Did they stop working on the graphics engine like 15 years ago for that, or?
Yeah, the Serious Sam games have never been the prettiest. Serious Sam 3 definitely looked a little dated when that one came out, too.
Well, they're sticking to their guns, then.
They sure are, but now they're sticking to their guns in space.
Whoa. They weren't all in space? I thought they all had aliens.
Yeah, but like the big thing in the previous games was Egypt and running around like temples and stuff.
Oh.
Maybe just because it's easy to render sand. That's going to be my cynical take on it. It's not a stylistic choice. It's just, we don't have to worry about like grass movement or trees if it's just sand everywhere.
Greg's a genius, man. Give this guy a raise. Yeah, I don't see myself ever playing that game.
I played the first 3, and I've never finished one. It's one of those games that I just get to a point, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I've had enough.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Sam.
Thanks for letting me hear people shouting and running backwards or strafing left and right. and shooting.
Yeah. Did that game, was it Disc Room come out?
No, I don't know when that's coming out.
That seemed like a game that was pretty close to release when they announced it last year, or at least showed it off last year. I'm surprised to not hear anything from it.
Who knows when that's coming out, man? Who could possibly have that information? I'm hoping it's me, and no release date yet.
Okay.
No.
Well, just to wrap up then, yeah, it's pretty much... I think that they had more stuff this year than last year. I think if I was disappointed with anything last year, it's like somehow they filled up an hour with like 3 indie game announcements.
This year, last year, I think they had My Friend Pedro, the original Carrion trailer.
Yeah.
Oh no! Last year they also had was it Metal Wolf XD? That FromSoft game that came out before Demon's Souls that they were going to port and localize.
Yeah, and they did do that, and no one gave a damn.
No, good for them though. You know they've published a FromSoft game. they are now up there with some of the best the biggest publishers out there. They have that in common.
Yeah, it's just them and Activision on that hill, and Sony, I guess.
Who published Dark Souls originally?
Atlas? Pretty sure.
Was it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Activision did Sekiro. Bloodborne is obviously Sony. And I think they had a canceled game with Microsoft at some point.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, no. Now Devolver's got them in their catalog. It was a lot of fun to watch that conference for sure. It's always nice to break up the E3 season with that, which isn't really a season this year, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
And they had a lot of good humor at the expense of games out there and the current games media and games industry as they always do.
Yeah, it's a very real tongue-in-cheek humor.
Yes. Yeah, they had one line in there about promising to show gameplay and then showing gameplay that was very, very enjoyable, because I think it was only 2 episodes ago we were talking about that exact issue.
Yep. Oh, and getting down with Bennett Foddy, the dancing game.
That killed me. There was a moment there where I was ready to believe getting down with Bennett Foddy was going to be a real game.
It's all I've ever wanted.
All right, speaking of people who promise gameplay and show gameplay, you ready to go over to the Ubisoft?
Yeah.
The Ubisoft conference?
Yeah, so unlike their reputation, they had a Forward conference this week. It was a showcase of a bunch of games that were either leaked already or previously announced, and then DLC for games and mobile games.
Yeah.
Generally, I was pretty disappointed with this one. But we should also, before we get into it, mention
speaking of Forward
stuff.
And people maybe coming forward.
Yes, exactly.
to have a really awkward segue.
Yeah, a few members, a few high up members at Ubisoft have had some serious accusations leveraged against them and have left the company in seeming droves, leaving a bit of a power vacuum at Ubisoft, it seems. Someone really high up at the headquarters in France, like a VP, the head of the Montreal studio, and I know their community manager was going through it a while back. So how do you think they handled the response in the context of the Ubisoft Forward conference, Andy?
You know, it went so fast, the response. I may have missed a lot of it.
So brave, Ubisoft. So brave.
I know that Yves Guillemot, if I'm going to just bastardize a French pronunciation there, said that he was going to be personally supervising some investigation into it. But I think that would have been on Twitter and in a press release around the same time, which seemed a bit odd because he was, I think, accused of helping foster this environment. So
Yeah.
not a great person to have in
Yeah.
charge, but that's fine.
Yeah, people definitely want like third parties or non-biased parties involved in the investigations, because it's presumed that people that close to him, like, yeah, he would have had some knowledge. Either way, like he's clearly fostered a certain culture that enables this. When you have like at least 5 people in management that are departing or on their way out because of sexual allegations.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not a great time for them, and it does, if you're a cynical person, raise a bit of suspicion about these leaks that have happened around the Ubisoft Forward. Leaking just fun, new, exciting information about games that are coming out soon.
yeah,
And that's all.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
very harmless leaks. Things that wouldn't in any way like violate an NDA or violate a first look, a promised first look thing in a magazine or other
yeah,
news outlet.
yeah, yeah. Just little reminders that they're not exclusively in the business of groping and et cetera, et cetera. They also make video games.
In case you'd forgotten.
Yeah, this obviously happens in like so many industries. I forget who did this. This happened in sports recently. Oh, God, I can't remember what it is, but basically there was like some real bad news that came out, and then they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that. We just signed this huge player," and everyone was like, "Oh, cool. Let's talk about that instead." And it was like it worked. It like so obviously worked, and you're like, come on, guys. That was like, and then like news reports came out that they had signed him like weeks back, but they knew that this was gonna like come to a head, so they held out on the announcement. Yeah, no, it was real gross, but nobody cared after a week, so checkmate corporations again. Um,
Yay.
I'll look up that story and pop it in the description or something, because I don't remember the details now, but it's pretty gross.
There's a lot of people out there who've done better dives into this than we're probably going to do and have more nuanced or more informed
Yeah,
pieces on it. I know there have been actual people giving anonymous or what's the other term I'm looking for? That's not I guess anonymous, right? That's the word I'm looking for.
protected sources.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, I guess anonymous.
Yeah, but yeah, there have been protected sources and hidden sources that have given some reporters more information. So
Yeah,
do look that up. Read up on the story, so that it's not all just look at how much fun Hyperscape is going to be.
yeah. Yeah, this was just meant to be a quick aside, because it's a company that's in turmoil, and they should absolutely be held accountable. But that's not what we're talking about today.
Right.
So look it up on your own time, like Andy said. But Ubisoft Forward, they also make games.
Yeah. There's some Ghost Recon stuff happening. Remember Ghost Recon Breakpoint?
I try not to.
Yeah. Do people still play that?
Did they release Sam Fisher DLC for that yet? Because maybe I'll continue to not play it when that comes out.
No, just AI teammates, the kind of thing that you might have assumed that the game would have had on release. And I only found out that it didn't have them on release while watching this Ubisoft Forward thing.
I know. Like, what was the game before that? Like, I still don't even know what it is. Like, it had loot, I guess.
Oh,
That
God,
was news
yeah,
to me.
they had time for loot. They had time to put the loot in.
Of course they
You
did.
think they're stupid? No, they just didn't add AI teammates.
They also announced like 3 mobile games or DLC for existing mobile games. That was unclear.
Oh yeah, you had Might and Magic Heroes Era of Chaos. That I don't
Is that
know
a real name?
what Might and Magic even is anymore. That series has just been bastardized in so many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a puzzler, but I've only played one Might and Magic game.
Yeah, that was a fun one though.
Oh yeah.
And then you had Elite Squad, which was the tactical RPG featuring the full range of Tom Clancy memorable characters.
Featuring the bad guy from Breakpoint or was that the guy from Wildlands? I can't
Who
remember.
fucking knows, man? They're all the
He's-
same. I don't know why I'm getting
Yeah.
angry about this. It's just
Who knows?
just to pretend like there's this Tom Clancy universe that we're all keeping up with. Oh my god, it's Ding Chavez. I don't know who that is. I mean, I do know who Ding Chavez is, but
I didn't put together that it was supposed to be like a fucking hero universe thing until Sam Fisher came on, and then I remembered the guy with the cross tattoo from like a trailer a few years back. I was like, oh, I see what they're doing, I guess.
you didn't realize they were all in the same shared universe of
Wow.
white guys shooting terrorists.
Shooting not white guys.
Yeah. White guys shooting people with accents.
Domestic and abroad.
Yeah. That doesn't matter. You could have an accent here, an accent over there.
Oh, it's getting dark.
Oh man, yeah, it's getting too real. What did you think of Brawlhalla Mobile? No, Watchdog Legion.
No.
Watchdog Legions.
Watchdog Legion. Hey, they announced that game a year and a half ago. But I'm gonna have a really different opinion about this because when that trailer first came out, I thought it looked like dog shit.
Mhm.
I thought it looked pretty, but it was like, how is any of this supposed to be fun? Like, you're not catering this story around like specific, people in the universe. Like, you're just picking whoever you think is cool, but they don't have like a proper curated narrative. And like Watch Dogs is like, that's a big part of the franchise narrative. So my opinion has changed greatly because I had recently gone back and 100%ed Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2 back to back for some fucking reason. And Watch Dogs 1's dog shit. Let's move past that. Watch Dogs 2, though, they did a really good job of opening up a lot of avenues for completing missions. I thought that the level design in that and just the mission design in that was actually fantastic.
Oh, Watch Dogs 2 is a great game.
Really is. So when I started to see what they were trying to do with all the different characters and all their different specialties, I finally got excited. I was like, oh, you know what? They're figuring out how to do this. Like, after playing Watch Dogs 1 and only like an hour of Watch Dogs 2 prior to, 3 weeks ago, I was like, this is not the game I want to play. Oh my God. But yeah, Watch Dogs 2, they seem to figure out how to make this like different, like completely different experiences, all with one character, obviously, but with a lot of different play styles, a lot of different specialty trees. So with all these different unique characters, like the John Wick character, TM, and the grandma, and the drone specialist, it's like...
I love Hacker Grandma.
Yeah, I can absolutely see myself playing like 2 out of 3 of these. Like, this seems like a blast, and like those characters would be great on my team, but maybe I wouldn't use that third character. So I get it now, and I'm a lot more excited. Also, very topical game right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to play this, because they've maintained that our games are not political thing.
Sure.
And I saw a recent article today that was talking about their history of saying games aren't political, but them also using and reworking that poem about the Holocaust. The first they came for and I said nothing because it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
And using that in their marketing strategy now and saying, is that the smartest thing to be doing right now? Also with the company that historically tries to play that their games aren't political.
Yeah.
Like, just just a little tone, but okay, that's fine. But
Sure.
This is a very weird time to be releasing this game. It's almost too on the nose.
Yeah. I was really wondering if they were going to pull back on it a lot, because like Watch Dogs 2 was too on the nose, and that's even closer to like current era.
Yeah.
Watchdogs Legion's very much like dystopian fucking England.
Yeah.
Because of the things that are happening.
Literally right now.
Literally right now.
Yeah.
But they haven't pulled back.
It looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's brave of them. There's going to be a lot of mad people for sure.
Did you care about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla stuff? Anything cool come from that you remember?
They're doing a lot of different things. I don't know if it's cool yet or not. They've taken 2 years on this one, obviously, so it's theoretically a similar jump from like Syndicate to Origins, but I think it's still based on the same engine. It looks really familiar if you've played Origins and Odyssey, so I'm not. I wanted to be more excited. I also went back and beat Odyssey not that long ago, and I was really looking forward to Valhalla because the same team that made Origins made this one, and they've had this extra year to make the game. So I was really hoping for a lot of advances, and I haven't seen them yet. But they are trying to change up just the core gameplay loops in the game. So it'll be a very different experience. I don't know what to expect. I'm not as excited as I want to be, though.
Are you bothered by the fact that women? Because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter that were upset at the historical inaccuracies of women.
Women Vikings?
I mean, I presume it was Viking, but it just seemed to be at the women.
Why do these people play video games? Just go read a history book. Who gives a shit? I don't care.
Didn't the last game have hydras?
There was a Medusa. There was
mythical creatures,
ogres and cyclopses,
and trained eagles that tell you where people are.
Yeah. Don't be fucking stupid. Get out of here with this shit. I think they also implied that there's going to be gene editing too, anyway, via the Animus. So none of it matters anyway. Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's a video game. I was going to ask your opinion too, because you played Odyssey as well. Are you excited at all for Valhalla?
No, I couldn't.
No.
I want more from Assassin's Creed. I want more from. I want them to play around with the formula more. I want them to play around with the feel of the game more. And at some point, they're going to run out of recognizable times in the past. Because no one is going to want to play Assassin's Creed Lisbon during the occupation of the Moors. Eventually they're going to run. Okay, fucking. Do people know anything about India? Do people in America care about India? No. Okay, not that one. Catherine the Great. Yeah. Do you guys know who she is? I want them. I want them to stop with the Animus. No one cares anymore.
Sure don't.
Stop with all of it. And just I want it just feel like I'm playing a different game entirely, like you did from Syndicate to Origins. That was oh wow, this is a significantly different game, and I didn't feel that with Valhalla. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
My idea. I think you and I've talked about this off air. If you want to make $1 million, is just take Assassin's Creed and make a Zorro game. Just then you can just imagine. I don't even have to explain it to you. You can already imagine it.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. Get Antonio Banderas in there. He's not doing anything, I don't think. I assume. I haven't heard of him doing anything, so he's probably not.
He's staying inside.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to.
You said that with a very threatening tone. If he knows what's good for him, he'll stay inside.
I know where he is.
Yeah, I wasn't too hugely excited with Valhalla. It looks pretty, and I will probably end up playing it eventually when it's on sale, or they give it away for free for a weekend because they've had another horrible week of press, like they did with Watchdogs.
Please, free game. Here you go.
Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6. Giancarlo Esposito.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The cinematic was cool. Didn't see any gameplay for that. I'm pretty sick of the Far Cry loop at this point. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'll play it. I'll end up buying it and playing it and having a B+ time, B+ like I do with all of them.
Yeah, that was my Far Cry 5 experience. I was like, hey, this is better than 4. Okay, no, it's all right. I wish it ended 10 hours earlier. Yep. And
that
finished
ending,
it begrudgingly. That was a fucking wild ending.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I buckled in for the last couple hours.
But like, I don't know how they're going to top that.
Are these all in disconnected universes? Because it's like, that's not something you just don't address in these games.
I think they are all disconnected, other than Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, which are, you know, one is literally an extension of the other.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, they are all supposed to be disconnected stories. I don't know, though. Although I did see a lot of people saying that the little kid in the trailer might be Voss from Far Cry 3 as a child.
That'd be interesting.
I've seen a lot of like people doing forensic analysis on the scars on his face and the scars on Voss's character. Yeah, like that level of digging into it.
They really want to believe. Holy cow.
Yeah. I think that basically covers all the Ubisoft stuff.
Pretty much. There were some missing games. Gods and Monsters was a game that was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year, and now they're just pretending it was never announced.
They still haven't just said, fuck you, we're not making Beyond Good and Evil 2. They're still...
Yeah, they have, sure have.
There's still no information about that. Which, you know, maybe they're still working on it.
Yeah, sure. Like 3 guys just locked in a closet somewhere. 3 interns, probably, so they don't actually invest any money into it.
They've got one guy that, for legal reasons, they can't fire because of some contract thing. If they fire him, they have to buy out his contract, and he was hired on at the beginning of Ubisoft, so technically he owns 2/3 of the company. So, all right, here you go.
I want that to be true so bad.
Here you go, Guy. Why don't you go make this make Beyond Good and Evil 2? That's your game.
Here you go, Vermont cheddar cheese. What, didn't they also announce Wildlands 2?
At
some point? I didn't do any research
that?
on this. I like vaguely, not yesterday or a couple days ago, but like at some point?
Just announcing anything. Maybe it's...
Yeah.
It's going to be Rayman Legends 2, Prince of Persia Sands of Time 3. Whatever you want, please.
Go watch the Devolver Direct. It's perfectly summarizes gaming. Okay, well, I guess showcase time then. If there's no Wildlands 2 to talk about,
you know, actually, before we do our showcase, we're gonna have to go for a quick message from our sponsor. I'll take it this week. Today's video is sponsored by Slotsy, one of biggest mobile dice games of 2020, and it's totally free. Currently, almost 43 users have joined Slotsy over the last 3 months, and it is one of the most impressive games in its class with detailed dice and animations. All of the dice in the game cannot be customized. The dungeons have not been added. Currently, with over 2 reviews, Slotsy has almost a perfect score in the Play Store. The community is growing fast, and the highly anticipated no new features are highly anticipated. It is easier than now to start because it is a free game and you can just download it. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video podcast description, click on the same links, and get nothing because it's not something we can offer in the game. Good luck, and I'll see you there.
Okay, great. I've played it, guys, and you should too.
Thanks to Slotsy for sponsoring today's episode. What game are you going to talk to us about today, Brett?
Showcase time. Yeah, I'll go. Today I'm talking about Slotsy. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I know probably no one's heard of Dragon Ball Z, but it was very popular in the late 80s, early 90s in Japan, and then in the 2000s in America. This game, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, follows the entire story of Dragon Ball Z, and it also has DLC for the more recent series that came out in the last 5-6 years, Dragon Ball Super. It follows the main character, whose name is Goku, not Kakarot, unless you speak Saiyan, and then his name is Kakarot. This game is a 3D non-planar action adventure beat 'em up. What does that mean?
I was about to ask that question, so thank you.
That means that you can fly, you can fight in the air, you can fight in water. the combat is very much, like just mashing, but you can also use special abilities. You can just dunk people into the earth and fly after them at light speed, shoot them directly into the air, every which way. It doesn't tell you what to do at all. Just lets you beat people up in every direction. It's also I don't want to say there's an exploration aspect of it because I'm gonna neg on it a bit for the quote unquote exploration in an open world. But it very much allows you to fly around these something like 10 or 12 different biomes, and they're all compartmentalized. I should note it's not like true open world. There's a lot of loading screens, but but yeah, the story is very, very, very closely tied to the entire story of Dragon Ball Z. So if you've seen that, this is all going to feel very familiar. And if you haven't, you're in for a wild ride because it is something else.
I saw probably a dozen episodes of Dragon Ball Z back in the early 2000s when it was airing on Toonami. Like I'm sure 99% of other people who've seen Dragon Ball Z in the United States. In our age group. What percentage of the game deals with spirit bombs?
Ooh, probably about 10 minutes.
Really?
Total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you watch the anime, there's probably like 30 total episodes dealing with spirit bombs, but it's just because it takes one eternity to gather the energy for spirit bombs. One of the things the game definitely does better is speeds up a lot of the parts of the Dragon Ball Z, the original anime, and just gets you through them, gets you to the action. There's still plenty of jibber jabbering. It's definitely still an anime that's targeted for like teen boys, but yeah, you're not spending 45 minutes just sitting in the air gathering energy for a spirit bomb. You actually do get that ability in combat, and it is one of the longer charging abilities, but it's like 3 seconds. It's nothing crazy. And you can just use it on command whenever you want to. If you need to like work out any of the frustration from watching the anime and being like, oh, can you just fucking throw the thing? Jesus Christ.
I'm a little actually confused as to what the gameplay looks like, because you described it as non-planar, and I get that. I get the flying around and fighting, but like, is it levels? Is it just like you enter into a battle and you've almost like a Dynasty Warriors, like you enter a battle, you fight that battle, and then it's in an enclosed area, and then you go back to a map?
No, there'll be open world random encounters. Not completely random. You'll see them on the map when you can also avoid them and stuff. But yeah, basically when you collide into some enemies, it'll initiate a combat sequence. You don't get domed off or anything. So if you wanted to just keep kicking the guy across the entire map, you could in theory do that.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it'd be the absolute slowest way to kill somebody, but maybe you're a sadomasochist and that's what you're into. No judgments. The game gives you the freedom to play how the players want to play.
Okay. And is it like just otherwise like an RPG, like you're going from town to town picking up quests, and then in between towns you're getting your random encounters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much. So the game will open it up to you a lot to move around, like as much as it can in the context of the story. Like sometimes things will just be too urgent for you to be able to be like, oh, well, I'm gonna go and gather some orbs and farm XP or get some rocks from the Rocklands and stuff like that. It'll be like, okay, well, you're in this fight, then you're in the next fight, because otherwise, like, all your friends are gonna die. Like, you don't just get a break and get to fly around. But it gives you as many opportunities as you can to fly from city to city, pick up side quests, to try and discover things like recipes. The exploration in the game's not all that great. There's not really anything interesting to find. Like, you find memories, which are just like little like clips from like the original Dragon Ball, because the Dragon Ball Z universe technically is like Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball Z, then Dragon Ball Super. So this game doesn't directly deal with anything before Dragon Ball Z, so you'll get like little memories to sort of get you more immersed in the Dragon Ball
Are
verse.
those just like clips from the show?
Not even, they're like little photographs with like descriptors of how maybe Goku met an important character or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not much to do or find in the exploration parts of the game. Get opportunities to like train and learn new skills, side quests, like I said, which aren't exactly, thrilling. They're all very simple, like fight some dude, collect some items, fight some other dudes.
Okay. For some reason, I was picturing this as a very different game, and so like I'm basically dragging out of you the idea of what sounds like a fairly standard RPG.
Yeah, I think it's the combat that really sets it apart.
Yeah, other than the way the combat resolves, but like just the
Yes.
general combat set or combat to combat movement is standard RPG.
Yeah, yeah, more or less. Other than like the flying, like as a person, and the vehicles, I guess, which I don't know why you use, but like the traversal's a little bit unique, the combat's a little bit unique, but everything else, yeah, standard fare pretty much.
Oh, okay. I mean, that actually sounds like it'd be kind of fun if the beat 'em up combat's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's I. Here's the interesting thing about the combat is I still don't know if I like it or not, because sometimes it's like really satisfying, and I think that's only when you like thoroughly dumpster somebody. Or you just like, oh, everything's clicking, like I'm hitting this guy, he's trying to hit me, I juke him, or I block him at the perfect time, and then I counter, and then I send him flying, and then I blast him with a Kamehameha, and like then it's just like, whew, that felt good. And other times you get into combat with like 7 enemies and you're just getting kicked around like a fucking pong ball and you can't do shit for 5 minutes. And then you're like, this is the most frustrating thing I've ever done. So I think that like if they didn't use up the entire story of Dragon Ball, there could have been a really interesting opportunity to work on this gameplay. I would like to see a different version of this, like a sequel in the future. I don't know what the hell that would look like, but I think there's still a lot of opportunities to make this like a 9 out of 10 game instead of like an 8 out of 10 game.
So no, you already answered. I was asking how many people you're going to have, and I think you already answered that. You said you can get up to like 7 or 8 people in a bit of combat.
Yeah, you can verse 7 or 8 people. You can have 2 allies at any one time.
How does that play?
There's no logic that you can build into them. You can set certain special abilities for them and cast them like once every 30 seconds. Otherwise, they'll just auto attack every once in a while.
As someone who has no real connection to the Dragon Ball universe, other than a couple of months of my teenage years watching Toonami, am I gonna is this gonna not click with me? Is this more geared towards existing fans?
It's really hard to say. As an existing fan and as someone who played this game or watched the entire series again a year ago, I don't know. It probably the best case scenario would have been having watched it when it first aired, not watching it a single time since, and then replaying it again, because it does justice to all those like really like specific plot points and all the plot twists, and it does some of like the more quintessential like shots from the series that people remember. Like it always does those correctly. So I think it's geared towards like long time ago fans that are looking for an excuse to get back into Dragon Ball. As a first timer, it'd probably be pretty fucking weird, but it's a very charming universe. It's so weird, nonsensical that like you may enjoy it anyway.
Okay.
But it's very, very hard to follow if you're not watching, the fucking 600 hours of Dragon Ball content.
I see things. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably not going to watch the 600. Like, I might check out the game, because the way you're describing it, like if it's good beat 'em up combat, that could be a lot of fun.
I'd be very curious to talk to someone who hasn't watched any Dragon Ball and played this, because I can't even imagine a life without Dragon Ball, so it's like hard to even pretend.
How is there a lot of customization? Like, are you kind of, or is it one of those RPGs where you're kind of like you're playing a set character and this is what that set character is like?
You play a good variety of characters, despite the name of the game being the main character. You're actually playing a majority of the game as other characters.
Bold.
But they all do have unique combat sets and play very differently. But there's not many opportunities to customize them individually. You can set only 4 abilities, and then you have passive abilities, but you have enough space for all those, and you shouldn't ever really need more than 4 special abilities anyway. So
I feel like there's like a bit of judgment in what you're saying there. Yeah, if you need more than 4 special abilities, you're doing something wrong there, buddy.
I mean, it's just like the way the game's built.
Okay.
Like you have a guard break, and it breaks the guard. You have a stun break, and it breaks the stun. And then you have damage abilities, and then you have distance damage abilities, and that's pretty much it. And they start to reiterate on themselves based on those basic concepts. So eventually you get a better version of the thing that does one of those things, and it's foolish to have 2 of those things on your hotbar.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess that makes a little more sense. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Like, I'm actually kind of intrigued by this game. I kind of feel like I might want to buy it.
Yeah, the thing that really made me buy it, and like I was interested in but not excited about it because I just watched Dragon Ball and I had heard someone say something very true about this, and you're gonna enjoy this a lot less if you've watched Dragon Ball Z recently. And if I hadn't watched it recently and played it, I probably would have liked it 5 times as much. But it's a very unique game. I'm really glad I finally got around to playing it. I'm constantly shocked that they were able to execute on any of the vision that they had for this game, because I would have said that this was an unadaptable game, or unadaptable franchise in this form. Obviously, you can have like fighting games and stuff based in this universe. That's pretty simple, and that works pretty well too, honestly, except for Jump Force. But yeah, no, it's constantly surprising me. It's not perfect, but it's a lot of fun.
So you'd recommend it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it for sure to old fans. Like I said, for someone who's watched it recently, I would say maybe skip through a lot of the dialogue and stuff, because it's just going to be, the Dragon Ball Z you love, but like in video game form, and it's not like a game that is cinematic first like a Last of Us. It's like, oh, we have these cutscenes, but everyone's standing around with no facial animations or anything, and they're just rolling out all the fucking dialogue. So as far as the narrative goes, you're obviously going to get a better experience with the anime, but old-time fans definitely going to enjoy this. Brand new fans, maybe. Recent fans, less so, but still a very unique experience.
Cool. Do you have anything else you wanted to say on it? Because I don't have any other questions.
Let me check my notes. Yeah, I think one of the things that I didn't touch on too much was that the open world is segmented. It's very much compartmentalized into those biomes I mentioned, so there's not many times where you're in the same biome for a long period of time. So one of the more annoying things, and this may be the first time I've thought this with the new console generation coming out, but I cannot wait for fucking SSDs on consoles, because there's a goddamn loading screen in this game every 15 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
It's exhausting. But yeah, that was all my thoughts on that. Good game. Not perfect, not close to perfect, but very surprising entry into the Dragon Ball Zverse.
I might actually end up trying this out, and if it does, I'll report back here. Or if I do, if it does, if I do, I'll report back here.
If I do, Andy, you played Deep Rock Galactic this week. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Crucible initially, that amazing game that Amazon released for a hot minute and then pulled back. But I went to try playing it again just to remind myself what it was like last night, and I was still in the party that I had created like 2 months ago when I originally installed the game, and I couldn't remove anyone from my party.
What?
And I couldn't figure out how to play the tutorial. Like I'm just in a party. I can't get anyone out of it.
What are you?
And I can't figure out how to replay the tutorial. I couldn't figure out anything.
What are you talking about?
So I was like, fuck this. I couldn't join a game because it was waiting for the rest of my party members. But none of them are on, and I can't remove them. All I can do is report them. That was the only option. Like this is. So I was like, all right, fuck this game. I'm just gonna talk about Deep Rock Galactic because fuck this. Deep Rock Galactic is a really fun mining game. You are a space dwarf gnome guy. I think they're dwarves, and you are on a space station as one of 4 classes. A guy with big drill arms, a guy with a shotgun and a cool flare gun, another guy with like a machine gun, and then a 4th guy who might have a flamethrower, I think. I never play as him. I always play as the guy with the flare gun. He's like the scout class. He's the best. And you go from this little like space station thing on missions deep into caves inside of various parts of a planet. And you are going in there to mine away and find crystals and shit, or spider eggs and other insect eggs, or the remains of previous groups that have gone down there, and then you dig all that shit up and then bring it back for money, and then you get your, almost like a killing floor, any of those kind of mission based. You kind of play the missions forever, keep upgrading your character, upgrading the weapons, unlocking new skills and abilities and all that stuff. The big thing that draws me to it is it has the thing that I love in games more than almost anything else, destructible environments. And it does them so well. You've got a little pickaxe that you can just plink away, and that's how you harvest these ores, is you plink away at them, knocking them out of the wall and collecting them until you can't carry any more ore.
What do you do when you cap out?
Then there's a little robot that's they call it a mule, and it's like a little 4-legged. It almost looks like a jacked out version of those Boston Dynamic dog robots. And it comes, you call it to you, and then you dump all your shit into this mule. And you keep going through there collecting red crystals and all these other crystals until you've achieved whatever it is you're trying to do. And this is where things get real fun. Or I think it's very interesting mechanic. When you say that you're done, you go up to the mule and you're like, hey, I got all my shit. And the mule calls back up, and to the space station. The space station, okay, cool. We're sending the thing back, the big drill pod, back down to pick you up, but it's back where you started. So you now have to make your way through all the digging and exploring cave you've done back to where you originally came in, which sounds like it would be a huge pain in the ass, but the mule also has to get back.
Yeah.
So you're basically following the mule, and the mule every 20 feet or so drops a little green beacon so that you can follow it. But the difference with the mule is the mule can walk on walls. And so it will just, there'll be a cavern that you kind of just jumped down into, and the mule will just traverse right up it. And then you'll be, oh shit, I need to figure out a way to get up there, and I have 5 minutes to do so.
I was going to ask, what's the average time it would take you from, the end when you've completed your mission, and also what does completing a mission look like? Part of this question. But how long does it take you from completing the mission to get back to your ship? Is it like a 15-minute experience, like an epic Indiana Jones adventure?
You have 5 minutes.
It's always 5 minutes?
You have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to get back. And I've had times where I barely made it back, and other times where I've made it back with 3 minutes to spare, because you didn't end up moving all that far because what you needed to get was kind of close enough. It's great. That whole part of it, that loop is fantastic. There are spider ant demon creatures that are around there, that crawling around, and very Left 4 Dead style, they will come in random waves, and they'll just like, hey, there's a wave of them, you better hunker down and fight them off, and you do so, and it's great. And they're fun to shoot, and they have a bunch of different types, some that do acid, some that do electricity, some that fly and grab you. Your standard kind of variety pack of enemies. They kind of remind me of the I'm not going to know what the hell they were called from Borderlands. The big ant things in Borderlands that you fight.
Spider ants.
Yeah, spider ants. I want to call them ant lions, but those are the ones from Half-Life. Yeah, the spider ants, those things. So you fight them. Sometimes you have to go find their eggs. That's some of the things you have to bring back. There's really, really fun gameplay there. Everything's really dark, so you're constantly throwing down flares, which kind of just regen. And just throwing them down to light the areas that you're in. Or if you play as a scout like I do, you have a gun that you can shoot that lights up a huge fucking area. It basically like shoots a flare up into the ceiling or that'll attach to the wall and lasts a couple of minutes and lights up a huge fucking area so you can actually see what the fuck you're doing. And that would probably be my only complaint about the game, and it's more my own personal style than anything else. I don't like games where you play in the dark.
Too spooky?
Partially because it's too spooky, but also partially just like I just don't think it's fun. Lighting is almost never done realistically. Like, go into your basement or your garage, turn all the lights off at night, and then shine a flashlight, like a decent mag light flashlight. And does it just light up a little 3-foot wide area, or does it basically light the whole fucking garage, so that you can kind of basically see everywhere?
Yeah,
and games just don't do that because it's not, it's not spooky.
Can you imagine if floor lamps did
also
that? How fucking useless they'd be. It's like, oh look,
yeah,
look, the ceiling is illuminated in this fucking 2 square feet area.
I see all these YouTube videos of people buying these like 18 billion lumens flashlights that can melt through fucking planes, and every idiot, every fucking idiot in a game where you play in the dark has the equivalent of like a little pen light, or what I had in Cub Scouts.
2 mismatched batteries and a dollar store flashlight.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. And this game, because of you're running around in a cave, it's necessarily dark, but it does. The game's balanced around it, so it's not like it's bad. It's not done poorly or incorrectly. I just don't like it. I just wish there were lights. And I've looked several times to see if I could download like a trainer or cheats to just turn the lights on in the fucking game, please.
Turn all the fluorescence on the ceiling on.
But you go through a very very enjoyable little loop of going down there, collecting your shit, having fun adventures in these caves, barely making it out through these scrapes, and then going back up and going through it again.
So, I'm... full disclosure, I've actually played a few hours of this game, so I'm like struggling to ask questions because I know the answers to most of them. What was the grappling hook class? 'Cause that's the one I played.
Oh, yeah, so you've got a bunch of different, like, ways of traversal.
Yeah.
The grappling hook, I believe, is the scout. He's the one that I usually play. I like him because, especially if you're playing with a group, his grappling hook does not help anyone else traverse the level. Whereas, like, other people, they'll set up a zip line that you can go across.
Oh, zip line.
Or they'll shoot little Yeah, the zipline guy. The guy I usually play games with, he usually plays with is the zipline guy. And so he can create traversal and I can light things up. And I also can traverse things, so I don't really need him. But, it's nice that he feels helpful.
So what does progression look like in this game? Because it seemed from my experience, my limited experience, there's a lot of progression and a lot of grinding for that progression.
Oh, it's a very grindy game. It reminded me a lot of Killing Floor, if you've ever played that one. In that you keep playing rounds over and over again, you slowly doing little... I'm trying to think of the word. You're getting little bits of experience, and you're moving up the experience bar, and every time you level up, you can unlock another ability, but the ability is a small buff. So you can run for 3 seconds longer. You take 5 more seconds before you bleed out. Your guns do 2% more damage.
So it's a little like little bit roguelike, a little bit Nephilim / like Ascension level, like that sort of slow progression.
Yes, yeah. The Ascension level and Nephilim level is a good comparison because it's very bit by bit. And there's a lot of stuff to unlock, but it is very bit by bit. On the other side of it, you also have things that you can unlock with your guns that are similar boons, but they happen faster. So, and they feel bigger because it's, here is, here is 20% larger clip size or 30% faster reload speed, but it's one thing. Each weapon has like 2 or 3 upgrade slots, and that this is the one thing that you can put in that one upgrade
so you
slot.
get like those milestone upgrades, basically.
Exactly. And you unlock new weapons after a while, after you've done enough of your, these. There's not really a story per se, but you've got your story, your certain progression path that you're going down. And then that becomes, okay, this is your progression path. And if you do these 5 missions in a row that are kind of, we're going to make sure that they're this type of mission, this type of mission, this type of mission, then you finish the first part of the story and you unlock this new weapon. But it's very much just keep playing and grinding through these things over and over again. And with games like that, it boils down to the amount of variety in that grinding and what the gameplay types are. I'll share one story that I came across, that I experienced because I played this game. Oh crap, they're going to figure out that I don't play games and I base all of my things off of IGN reviews. Shit.
They already know. It's too late.
One of the missions I went on was to go down and recover the mule from a lost group. So you had to go down there, you had to find the mules, you had to repair them, and let them go back to a pod that's already there, and then defend it as it's, you're doing different things and getting its computer updated so that it can go back up to the station on its own, and then you leave. But it was in this area that was kind of like earthquake prone and full of lava.
Okay.
And every so often, there's just a big shaking that creates these new dynamic cracks throughout the environment that are just full of lava now.
That's fucking wild.
It was awesome and terrifying. As me and my buddy are running through here, and one of the things that we're supposed to find ended up falling down and basically being stuck on the wall on one of these cracks. God. So we were running around for 15, 20 minutes trying to find it, and we eventually thought, like, wait, was that box that we saw down there, is that what we're supposed to be getting? Is it the thing that's in the lava crack? And so we had to jump down, and basically, like, this broken down mule is embedded in the side of this chasm that's lava at the bottom, and we had to jump down onto it and stay there for like 2 minutes or a minute as it was uploading information so that we could get out. Like, it was just, and it was this really, the kind of gameplay that another game would have painstakingly made sure happened, that just happened dynamically because it's a lava level, these geysers and cracks keep appearing, and sometimes they appear in ways that fuck with your progression.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it will probably go up there as one of my top 100 memorable gaming moments.
Yeah.
Because we were just screaming with terror and panic trying to make it out of this thing. And especially it took so long to find the things because they were all buried and in lava that we were at like 40 minutes for this level when it should take 15 maybe.
Yeah. So
it was even more imperative that we make this work and we get out of there so we didn't just waste the last hour.
Yeah, it seems like you get a lot of opportunities for these like sci-fi Indiana Jones experiences.
Yes, sci-fi Indiana Jones is a great description of it. As you're seeing down some caves and you're figuring, I need to get down there, but there's no way for me to get down there without breaking both of my legs and dying. So what do I do? How do I get down there successfully?
So what happens if you do die? Do you fail the mission, or can your buddy res you?
Your buddy can res you. You can also, if you play by yourself, you can get a little like helper robot. So that thing that Ghost Recon Breakpoint just added of AI teammates. Deep Rock Galactic already has that.
This little indie gem?
This little indie gem that was in early access for like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. Much like Slay the Spire, where I think most people who were aware of it for a while were people who are playing it now, or people who have already been playing it for a year before its release. But you have AI teammates, and they will come res you, or your teammates can come get you up. It's standard mechanic there. Nothing to stand out there.
The home base seemed pretty interesting. There was like a lot of tiers and secrets to it. You discover anything interesting there?
You can find a couple little things. I've not found anything like really mind-blowing, and I can't tell if that's because it's not there, or I'm not clever enough, or they haven't added it yet. Because it could easily be both.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a very, like, they've put a lot of thought into this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they clearly have anticipated the way that people are going to poke around in there. So, I don't know. Well, I haven't found anything yet. I will update if I do find anything cool in there.
So, the dev cycle for this sort of implies that this is going to be more of a game as a service moving forward. Do they have like a roadmap or at least some ideas of what they're doing with the game in the future?
I believe so. They were pretty open with their roadmap when they were in development, and I believe they've had stuff there. I haven't actually really looked that much into it, unfortunately. So I can't say 100% that they do or don't.
That's definitely like a T-bone question.
Yeah. It'd be a gotcha if there were any stakes to this at all.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's all my questions. Who would you recommend this game to?
I think if you like games like Left 4 Dead, or I don't know why I can only think of zombie games that have the same formula, but like there's a set number of missions that you can do, or types of missions that you can do, and you kind of just keep selecting the next one. Like Payday, I think, is another one that's like that. You could say is in that similar vein. I think this is that kind of thing. It's if you get a good group that just enjoy shooting the shit and playing, because a lot of it is just walking around exploring this cave and finding gems. Yeah. So there is a lot of time to just kind of shoot the shit while you're harvesting things, and then everything goes to hell and you have to panic. But for a short period of time, it's very, very relaxing.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to add too. A lot of my experience was actually getting back to the drill fairly quickly, and then like having to dig in there and like fight just waves of spiders and shit. And it's like absolutely terrifying, because it's like get out of here, fucking, like, get down here, drill, oh god, like just shit like that. Like, where's the ship? Or one buddy's lagging behind, like, get out, come on.
At moments, it does feel very much like Starship Troopers in a cave. Like you because these things are just coming at you, and a lot of them die quickly, and you run out of ammo very quickly as well.
Jeez, yeah. I do remember that.
It can get very tense, but in a way that feels pretty well balanced. At no point did I feel like the game was just, giving me a big fuck you, try again, fuck you, try harder, fuck you, get good.
Yeah. I only think I failed like one or two missions, and only one probably at that point, and it was like it got completely out of hand. Like the game definitely treats you the way you deserve to be treated. Like if you're just there like one-shotting things with a pistol from time to time, like you can get overrun in seconds. But if you're on it, like you should be able to handle it just fine.
Yeah, I think if you're good at, or you're cognizant of resource management and not just burning through all your ammo very quickly, you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
ready to rank our games?
Yeah. All right. Let's rank them. Where do you think Deep Rock belongs?
Deep Rock's going at number 4, above Streets of Rage, but below Monster Train.
I cannot get... I'm not used to using a MacBook. Come on. Andy, vamp.
Okay. One of the really cool things about Deep Rock Galactic is how cool it is and the fun you can have when you play it. No, it's got destructible environments. All of you fucking cowards out there in the game industry, these indie people made destructible environments, and you're not doing it. What the fuck is wrong with you? All of you. Minecraft Dungeons didn't have destructible environments. Deep Rock Galactic has really good, like, you can get a guy with big fucking drill arms and just drill right through and just dig a tunnel like your Shredder's drill thing in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's amazing. Go more destructible environments and everything.
Thank you, Andy. All right, I'm gonna put Carrot. Why did I write it like this? I'm already confusing myself. I'm gonna put Dragon Ball Z Carrot Top. God damn it, Kakarot at number 2 after Gears Tactics and before Deliver Us the Moon. So Out of the 8 games I've played,
Nice.
number 2.
Nice. Good that we had a week where we both liked the games that we
Yeah.
played.
Yeah,
Isn't that nice?
it definitely is, because there was maybe a chain of 3 or 4 episodes where, boy,
Where one of us was miserable.
just slitting our wrists on the air, just completely dejected talking about the games. Like, why did I put myself through this? I don't understand. I don't even know if I like video games anymore. Yeah, good week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our next episode should be after the Xbox showcase. No idea what I'm going to be playing next.
No.
Yeah.
No idea.
That'll be a surprise. But yeah, tune in again for episode 35, and be sure to like us and subscribe us, especially on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever listening platform you're on, or even on YouTube. There's no video. You probably don't want to see me here shirtless, standing up in my closet, because that's what's happening right now, because it's very hot. But check us out. Game Off
Yeah,
Podcast.
and if you've got questions, you got comments, anything you want us to talk about, you want us to cover, please send them. Tweet us at Game Off Podcast, and we'll happily cover them in the show. Assuming they're not dumb.
All right, everybody, that's been episode 34. See ya later.
See you later.